George Washington here is currently in a load of trouble. His Continental Army is currently locked up inside of a star fortress, with an entranceway being blown open by the British Army, who are standing thousands deep in line battle formation, ready to walk up to the star fortress and begin their assault. So in today's video, we are going to be helping out old Georgie W here in protecting the Star Fortress with a mere 200 infantry soldiers here. So let's get to distributing them along the defenses. Okay, so this is going to be rough. Defending in Born in the Fire America mod is absolutely brutal against oncoming infantry riflemen, mainly because you don't have access to any of the things that make Men of War defenses easy, such as machine guns. However, we do have a number of fort mortars in here that we will be able to utilize. Of course, the Brits also have their own fortress siege mortars, which are going to probably wreck house quite a bit here, but we've got some outer ramparts outside of the exploded zone that we can go ahead and man up, and then of course the top walls as well. So we'll be able to do a bit of a tiered and stacked defense here. Now the idea for our defense is to line up all of our soldiers initially and then slowly retreat them back as we go, because they just have overwhelming forces bearing down on our fortress, so it's going to be really hard to just hold them at one point in the defense here. So we are going to split up our troopers across the front walls, but it might not be a permanent defensive slot for them to stay in. We might have to backpedal a number of these soldiers, but we especially want to hold the main choke point here. So we'll definitely be leaving a number of grenadiers and things like that along that choke point to make sure it holds for as long as possible. So while I go ahead and distribute our soldiers amongst the ramparts here, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below, all that good stuff. Helps me out a ton on YouTube. And if you want to check out my book, Army Men, Blight of the Empire, link in the description below. Either way, let me go ahead and time-lapse the distribution of these soldiers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have our forces all set up. I tried to make sure as many of them as possible are behind cover and in firing formation, so that way our first volley here is going to be as effective as it possibly can be. No one squatting behind cover or anything along those lines. It is going to be a good bit laggy at the start. We will play as the Continental Army here. However, at the very start, we might be looking at like 5 FPS, so we might just have to let the battle exist for a little bit here, and there's our first volley going out. Until some of the Redcoats and Continental Army soldiers both die, because there are thousands of Redcoats and exactly 201 Continental Army soldiers, if you include George Washington, who I do have in the fortress itself behind the line. So, the U.S. first volley ends up going off. I also see some of our mortar strikes going out. That's good to see. We need some big mortar shots, and that one blows some type of Redcoat sky high right there. Let's go ahead and actually check out some of the losses. It looks like maybe 10 or so Redcoats are dead off rip. That's not a lot. And 2 Continental Army soldiers have died. So we're not off to a rip-roaring start here. However, we definitely have won the first volley and hopefully more volleys to come. We also do have some grenadiers within our fortress with those primitive grenades, so hopefully if the Redcoats do surge forward, we can utilize those to our advantage. What we really need is these mortars and cannons to work some serious magic here right off rip. Let's actually go ahead and try and help out. Alright, this one's reloading. They do have very long reload times on these cannons, so that could be a bit of a problem going forward. That is the same cannon. Give me this one! There we go. Look at that lag when the volleys start popping. Holy cow, dude. I mean, we want the volleys to pop. We want some serious damage going out. I'm going to aim for this massive clump of Redcoats over this way. Let's zoom in and fire. Let her rip, baby. Hoping for some big cash money there. It is 3 FPS. Alright, swings far left. I think it might have done a little bit of damage, but Just not a lot there. I think we do need to let these cannons kind of work themselves out for a little bit, and our boys firing, because it is just so laggy at the very start here. It's almost impossible to help. Looks like more redcoats are going down, and not too many Continental Army soldiers are going down, so that is good to see right off rip. Let's go ahead and do a small time lapse here at the very beginning, and hopefully our boys on the ramparts can hold the Star Fortress for a good amount of time here, and then once the lag subsides a bit more, we can start to help out more as well. Our boys are continuing to scorch some of the enemies, but I do notice that one of our mortars over here blew up from enemy cannon fire. Those cannons off in the way back for the British are going to be shelling us constantly, and that is going to be a bit of a problem here. Just looking at our boys defending right now, yellow are going to be dead redcoats, red are dead Continental Army soldiers. We're doing pretty well. I'm seeing maybe 50 to 60 dead redcoats on the battlefield, and maybe 10 of our own boys dead, so that's not too bad. And I'm expecting the actual Star Fortress entrance point that the redcoats have blown into the side here to be where we make our real last stand defense, though that will come later when we retreat more of our troopers. But for now, we're gonna let our boys continue this fight since it is so laggy. Okay, the redcoats are starting to bum rush us a little bit here at the front. That's not good. It's still super laggy, by the way. So we need to do something about this. Yellow are dead redcoats. Some have even tried to breach the gap here. Our frontline defense is still hanging in there. It is getting a little bit rough. What we're going to try and do, while it's very laggy, is lay... Oh, those are the redcoats. Whoopsie. No, we want the Continental Army soldiers, please. Please, please, please. There we go. All right, we're going to actually lay down a lot of these troopers at the very front lines here, and it just makes it so the redcoats have to go around the barricades to hit them, while our boys up top here continue to fire at them. Now, what we're going to do on top of that is actually try to take these cannons and do a little liberating ourselves of the British menace. So this one's already got 24 kills, which is absolutely insane. We're just going to start spamming the front line here as much as possible through the lag. So we'll see what we can do here. It's hard to miss. I mean, that shot was absolutely gorgeous, and we're already up to 36 kills on this cannon. So let's help out the boys by operating these cannons and trying to get as many kills as possible, break up the back lines of the British, while our guys up front basically are fighting to the death right now as the Brits start coming up over our barricades there. Alright guys, we've pumped these guys full of explosives. We've gotten a very, very solid number of kills out of those cannons, which is great. What we're going to do now is we're going to start running some of our forces that are still alive over here towards the entrance point over this way, in an attempt to kind of clog it up with some extra soldiers. It seems like the right side over here is actually doing better in general than the rest of the battlefield, so we'll bring a lot of these guys over here to lend a hand as much as they can. I don't know how those guys are getting through there, but that's frustrating. Okay, it's very hard to command troops when the battlefield is so brutally laggy, but we're going to try our best. Let's go ahead and lay these guys down as well. Alright, good stuff. George is down here still, big chillin' at the moment. I'm hoping he can still survive this thing during this onslaught, but our frontline troopers are honestly taking a brutal beating. This is rough. Can this pivot any more to the left, please? Please? No, I don't think it can. I think it can only shoot to the right over here. Sad. Alright, hold on. Zero in right here. Fire! You can't get too accurate with these suckers, but you could try. Fire! There we go. There's some kills. They're crawling in here. The problem is our boys are having to reload very slowly because these are, you know, flintlock. It takes a minute to reload these muskets, so anyone who crawls behind our lines is got an ample opportunity to get a few shots off and potentially kill a few of our boys. Our grenadiers are doing a decent job of stopping them, which is good. But man, oh man, are we getting kind of slaughtered right now. Alright, let's go ahead and do some more pot shots. I think the left side needs some serious attention right now. If we could get some serious kills over here, that would be absolutely glorious. Fire! We just need some serious kills, please. Please, please, please. Alright, that's pretty decent. Got a couple kills there. This sucker is unmanned now. Fun. Alright, give me this officer. Get on that thing. Alright, and then give me this grenadier. Come on out this way, more so. You come out this way as well. Good stuff. Fire! Come on, boys! Hold steady! This thing's got 51 kills, and make that 54. Only 3 kills from that shot. Weak. This one's got 66, this one's got 46, but both of them are currently reloading, so there's really not a ton we could do about that. Here, bring these guys up so they're more so on the choke point itself. Ooh, we getting cooked, boys. I need the cannons to do more, please. There's so many redcoats coming forward, and we are so not stopping them. Ugh. Alright, let's go ahead and get hot shots going out this way. They can't aim too far to the left, so they're kind of just stuck firing out here, which sucks. Oh man. Yeah, these boys are just trampling our ladies and gentlemen here. Let's go ahead and we'll bring Washington. He's firing but not really doing anything. We'll bring him to the stairs. I think this is Jover for our 200 soldiers. I do have another strategy I want to try with them, where we just hold the top tier versus putting folks on the bottom tier, and we try and use the cannons as much as possible. So let's time-lapse the ending here because it's pretty much over. Alright, so Georgie boy here ended up going down. Oh! Wait, there's still a few troops over this way. Hold on, these will be the guys who reinforce. There's only 3 of them. So, at the end of the day, yellow are downed Continental Army soldiers, red are downed redcoats, and Continental Army did a real good job. I mean, they got a lot of kills, probably at least 1,000. But there's still so many redcoats left alive. So we're going to try it again with the same 200 soldiers, but really concentrate them in the choke point and not so much down here. Maybe here a little bit, but more so up this way. Let me go ahead and time-lapse that real quick. Alright, we've really stuffed the front here with a ton of soldiers, and more importantly, behind cover back this way, I've laid down some soldiers where, okay, these 2 need to move, but the rest of them are behind cover, so they won't be shot from the outside of the fortress. The only thing that could kill them from the outside would be those cannons, so hopefully those don't hit. But these guys can rally shots into the kill zone there and hopefully get some kills. So we will have less of a bombastic start here. However, as we get going, it should get a little bit better for us. I think on the interior, the main thing is we want those cannons to be continuously firing again. You could see a super unenthusiastic start from the Continental Army. There we go. First couple firing away, now more. Whereas before it was just instantaneous shots going out there. Now it's a little bit more of a slow roller. And we're keeping these guys out here because we need them to not bum rush us super quickly. We need to at least stall them. But then on the interior, it should start getting better. We do have our cannons firing out. That shot missed. The second shot also kind of, I think it might have gotten a kill, honestly. Let's fire for this one here. Just go ahead and take some. Ooh. Did that hit? No. I was like, did that hit one of our men in the front? No, it did fly. There it is. That actually was not a bad shot. Landed nearby some troops and only got 1 kill. Impressive. This one, the shot's still flying. And that was solid. 6 kills right there. This one's shot got 1 and this one's got none. So our shots did statistically do better than the AI shots. And we also need these mortars to be firing out more so now. Like, this is a problem. Okay, let's actually go ahead and have these guys attack ground here, okay? I want you guys to just straight up have an attack ground order, because it makes it so I don't have to micromanage these guys. Ooh, part of the wall fortress is actually blowing up over there, and we have grenadiers throwing granatas again already on the battlefield. We also have little pockets of resistance off on the sides here, so hoping that also makes a nice difference. Okay, wait. Give me the attack ground order. Lob them like over that way, please. And this one, attack ground order, and lob them right in the bushes there, because more soldiers will be coming up in this direction later on, I think. All right, beautiful. Let's go ahead and watch the defense at work for a little bit here as the Redcoats come forward, and hopefully this time we can kill more of them with those mortars now having lock on the ground there. There they are firing. Beautiful. Alright, it's been about 3 minutes, but at 3 frames per second, that's like 20 seconds in game time. Let's see how we're doing at the moment. Lots of dead redcoats out that way. That's good to see. Are these puppies still shuffling out shots? Sometimes they ignore the order after a while. This one's got 33 kills. This one's got 19. And they have been firing, so that's good. This one has 13 kills. This one has 60. Okay, yeah, that targeting fire seems to be working out really, really nicely for us. Let's actually do the exact same thing with these cannons. I don't know if it'll work as well since they are not mortars. I think it works better with mortars, but we'll still give it a try there. So we'll have an attack ground order there. It's a very slow process given the lag, but that's okay. We'll do another there. Okay, and then do one over here, because they do like to bunch up over this way. And then we'll do this one right over here as well. But like a little off kilter, so that way it's not shooting in the exact same spot. And of course, their trajectories do miss quite a bit anyway, so it's fine. Okay, so the Redcoats are getting up to the wall itself, but hopefully our shells kind of keep it just a trickle in, and the troops up top should be able to stop them. We also have a lot of grenadiers still up here, so that should also help with stopping the assault. I'm wondering if maybe we should drop these guys to the ground, so that way they can't be shot, and then they just hold the interior. I think I will do that, actually. Whoop! There's our cannons firing. Beautiful, beautiful. Get some kills for us, boys. Get some kills. Wunderbar. Okay, let's watch the British perspective here, because it is still crazy laggy. Alright, the Jerrys are getting up here now. They are dying in the middle here, and our boys are stopping them, which is good. We also have all these guys off to the side capable of firing out at them too as they come up. So our contingencies are working. I do worry about like a massive charge kind of coming forward and wrecking house, but so far we seem okay. Let's go ahead and re-gear the cannons though real quick. This one's only got 17 kills. Could certainly be doing so much better. I want shots going out there. That is a prime location. Oh, and this one's actually unmanned now, so let's go ahead and reman this sucker so it'll actually fire out. There we go. That one's firing now. This sucker here has 70 kills. God dang, dude. Ooh, that is nuts. This one's got 40, also very, very good. So yeah, our attack ground strat seems to be working over this way, which is great. Hold on, give me this one. I'm going to take a pot shot myself right here. Hold on. Let's zero in over this way. I also notice our grenadiers are doing a nice job killing a lot of redcoats in that choke point, which is great. Alright, took a nice little pot shot there with the cannon. Hopefully we get a couple kills. Look decent. Okay, not bad. This cannon now has 11 kills. It could be better, could be worse. Okay, and then these guys over here seem to still be firing out. We could maybe redo this one's targeting to back there. Lots of redcoats coming through right now. Lots of redcoats. Hold on. I think we're still cash money, though. We still have so many troops back here holding the ground. The grenades not really impacting them. They're either getting thrown back, but that one gets thrown back at them and gets a ton of kills. Let's go. That was huge. And remember, we still have a bunch of guys over here as well defending for us. So I think we're still solid. We're going to let those cannons continue to cook. And let's watch the Redcoats trying to funnel into the choke point, but many of them dying here. Well, guys, the Redcoats have certainly been trying to push up here, but it is just a complete and utter kill box right here. They're getting destroyed by our guys laying around this way. Now, a few of our guys have died, but most of them still up and alive, and these guys over here also shooting into the sides of them over that way. Still quite a number of Redcoats down here ready to charge up. The guys over here that have been constantly firing up at our boys defending are just getting hit by mortar after mortar. So I'm cool with it right now. That's very cash money. This has 92 kills. This has 98. This one's dead again. I'm not going to reload it because we are holding up here, and these troopers here, if I try and put them on there, they'll probably die. Same with this one, which has 43 kills. This one has 78, still alive. This one has 52, still alive. These got hit by grenades and are still alive, so goated. This has 143 kills, and this has 59, and then a ton of our infantry has, you know, bunch of kills as well. Everyone has a handful of kills, and some of the grenadiers have definitely gotten in the double digits during this whole thing. So we're just seeing a complete and utter Continental Army W right now. Should we try and get Georgie boy up here? We can put him on the stairs. We'll put him on the stairs right there. But let's go ahead and watch these guys, because they are just kind of constantly firing at the Redcoats as they come up over this way. And that way, when Georgie boy does end up right over here, we can watch him in the fight too. But I think we might have a W on our hands. Alright guys, I think we're at the point where the Continental Army is just going to get the W. I think we can also go into normal speed now because we're getting about 23 FPS, which is pretty good. So, the British Redcoat Army is still trickling in, but they're basically just getting shot up anytime they go up here. Once again, pretty much all of our soldiers have a solid handful of kills up here. And then our mortars, this one has 155 kills, this one has 64, this one had 52, this one had 81, this one had 43, this one had 52, this one had 102, and this one had 95. So pretty impressive mortar skills here. Let's send George up this way. Go, George, go! Run very, very quickly. Yeah, George is with his men now. Now that most of the present danger is gone, George can join the actual fight over this way. Beautiful. Why don't we watch this angle for a bit here of these guys firing in at the breach as the Redcoats try to come up here. But I do think this will end up being a Continental Army victory. Of course, if anything changes, we will get right on it. But let's watch. Well, there we have it, gamers. That's been 30 minutes here, and it seems like the Redcoats are really petering out. Why don't we send the last few squads up and force them into combat here, as they're just kind of refusing to go forward right now, and that'll pretty much be the end of this battle, as they're Not coming up beyond that. There we go. Initial shots in. This might actually be the best possible chance for these guys to maybe get a victory, as before this, they've just been trickling in, and now we're forcing them down mid, forcing them to actually attack. We have a large quantity at the choke point over there. We got some grenades going out. They're getting rebounded back by the Continental Army, so the redcoat grenades don't really end up doing all that much over there. These guys, they're very heavily stacked over this way. We've also got a heavy stack over here still firing away. And of course, where George Washington is over here. And the mortars are continuing to fire and spam out shots because we had them on an attack ground order, so they'll just continue to do that forever, pretty much. Very few redcoats from that little charge left alive over here. They're still trying, but they're kind of getting knocked around, and there's just a few of them. The slow reload makes it so they get to live for a little bit longer, but probably not going to manage to actually get a W here at the end of the day. I do love these Born in the Fire America mod battles. However, I wish there was a way to disable the smoke that comes out of the muskets. I love the way it looks. It's absolutely beautiful, and obviously, there was a lot of smoke in, the gunpowder period here. However, it generates all that lag. Like, getting 3 FPS during these battles is pretty rough because of it. It's not the greatest. The last of the redcoats here going down. They did manage to get a few more kills, but there's barely any of them left on the battlefield here. Absolute brutality. Yeah. Continental Army with the big W, baby. Let's go! First Born in the Fire America mod video in 2026. Starting off with a big Continental Army W, baby. Love it. And there's Georgie right there, still alive. Either way, let's go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see y'all in the next one. And first, let's actually go ahead and see the losses here. A lot of the bodies back here have blown up due to all the constant fire, but yeah, pretty devastating battle for the redcoats. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.